Hey guys, Zach here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic World Legacy Collection Robert Muldoon. Now, on this channel at least, this is going to be our first look at Mattel's human figures. I know when these figures first came out, I kind of did a video comparing this to Kenner, but as a whole, I do believe that, this is the first time we're taking a look, at least in depth, at a human figure in this line, so yeah. And of course, our first figure is Robert Muldoon. And in case you don't know, Robert Muldoon is the game warden from Jurassic Park who hated the raptors, and he's, well, besides his character in the movie, other people remember him for saying clever girl or shoot her, etc. So, yeah. Anyway, before we take a look at the figure itself, let's take a quick look at his accessories, starting with his gun. And his gun here actually looks really nice and looks a lot like how it looked in Jurassic Park. There's not a lot in terms of paint, it's just black, but honestly that's perfectly fine because this thing is actually a very small piece, so I don't really expect a lot of paint here. So yeah, the detailing's nice, the sculpting's nice, no paint, no articulation, so yeah. Not really going to go into too much detail with these accessories. Now for the Compsognathus, and the Compsognathus here actually looks very nice, and probably the best looking Compsognathus in my Jurassic Park collection. Of course there's the Papo Compsognathus, which looks great, but yeah, no. As far as copies go in the Jurassic Park line, or Jurassic World line in this case, this still looks very nice, and I like this a lot. And it's a lot like the one that came with Deirdre Stark from The Lost World, where he can kind of like hook onto people, but the only thing is, this copy doesn't really look like he's about to take a bite. It just looks like he's going to town on Robert Muldoon's arm, which kind of weird, but of course that's just me with a dirty mind. Yeah, no, this thing is nice, not great, but it's nice. So, yeah, very simple. So, not going to go into too much detail there. Actually, before I take a look at Muldoon, really quick, I just want to say, it would have been nice if the other human figures in the Legacy Collection came with things other than compies. I feel like that would have been a bit nicer, but that's just me. Actually, as of me recording this, yesterday, I'm recording this on the 19th, but on the 18th, it was revealed that they are going to make a John Hammond figure, and it's going to come with a little base and like a raptor hatching out of an egg, which looks great, and I would love to get it. The only problem is it's a Comic-Con exclusive. So, yeah, that's honestly really dumb on Mattel's part, not gonna lie. But, yeah, no. I would have liked Hammond. It would have been the second official Hammond figure we've gotten, but, yeah, no. Instead, just make it a Comic-Con exclusive. Whatever, but yeah. Anyway, now for Muldoon himself. And first, we'll take a look at the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure is actually pretty good, and actually pretty accurate to the movie. So his hat is painted a beige sort of color, which does look nice. And he has kind of a white toned skin. His hair is painted brown, and the painting on his face looks great. And going to his torso, he has a blue shirt with a kind of a beige or brownish vest, which again looks great. He has gray khakis with a dark shade of gray for the belt. The socks are gray and the boots are a brownish gray. And that pretty much does it for the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure looks great. Not incredible. There are some minor mishaps, mainly with the paints right here. There's a bit of a paint blemish right there. And right there, I just noticed as well, but other than that, the painting on this figure is still very nice, so the paint gets a pass. Now I'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation is good, but I feel like it could have been better if it was bigger. These figures are in the 3.75 inch scale. They're not in the 4 inch scale, which is kind of unfortunate, but it still works, so yeah. Anyway, we have a very limited ball joint at the head. This figure cannot look up and down, he can just move his head 360. And he can kind of cock his head a little bit, so yeah. The arms can move upwards about that much. And they can spin around 360. There's a swivel in the elbow right here, and the elbow can bend as well. So, yeah. Really quick, I just want to say, for some reason, the arms are made of like a rubbery plastic. I don't know if it was to give it that real feel skin or whatever, but yeah, no, I'm not the biggest fan of that at all. So, yeah. Anyway, we have a waist swivel right here. he can spread that much. He can't really kick backwards much, but he can kick forward. He has a bend at the knee right here, and the knees also have swivels in them. And that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. I would have preferred if there was wrist articulation, but these are very small figures. If they were in the 4-inch scale, then wrist articulation would have been great, because if you try to get him to hold his gun like how you'd expect him to, then it would look very weird. And he kind of holds it like, let me just try to, give me a second here, I just want to try to line this up. But basically, he kind of holds his gun like that. And I'm no gun expert, but I'm pretty sure that's not how you hold a gun at all. So, yeah. The only way to get him holding a gun without looking weird is to kind of make him hold it like that, but even then, this is not the type of gun where it can be one-handed. So, yeah. But other than that, the articulation on this figure is still nice, so it gets a pass. Now take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure is actually really good, and this actually looks a lot like Robert Muldoon from the movie, and I like that a lot. There are some minor mishaps with the sculpt, like on the neck here. There's just a line, there's just a big crack going through his neck, and little stuff like that, and even on the legs that looks a little weird, but for the most part, the sculpting on this figure is very nice, so the sculpting gets a pass. Anyway, now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure, not great, but it's still good. So let's take a closer look. So the detailing for the hat looks pretty good. We have some stitches on the rims of the hat right here, which looks alright. The detailing on the face looks very nice, and going to the torso, the creasing in the clothes looks very nice as well. And we do have some pockets and whatnot that do look okay. They don't look great, they just look okay, but anyway. The pants are detailed very nicely as well. The creasing there, alright, it's not great, but it looks nice. However, we have pockets of that do look nice. Not a lot of detailing on the legs here, but his socks are detailed very nicely, as well as his boots. And on his back, we do have some legal information right here. So, yeah. And that about does it for the detailing on this figure. Not great, but it's still good for what it is. This figure is not a lot in terms of money, so I'd say it gets a pass. So, at the end of the day, should you get this? Honestly, these aren't the best human figures as far as Jurassic Park figures go. They're better than the Jurassic Park 3 figures, I'll say, at least in terms of human figures, but not as good as the Kenner human figures. And of course for Jurassic World, we didn't get any at all. We got Owen, but Owen was actually awful. But yeah, no, the Mattel human figures aren't bad, they're good, but it would have been nice if they were in the 4-inch scale. That and more articulation in the wrist would have been nice, but yeah. Again, not as good as Kenner, but I still think that these figures are pretty good. If you want this figure, the Legacy Collection is exclusive to Target, so you'd have to go there and you'd have to pay about $7 for this, which really isn't bad. However, as of me recording this, I don't know if these figures are still on clearance or not, but these figures are on clearance, or were at some point, and they were about $3. And honestly, $3 for this, you can't really complain, because for a price like that, it's actually very good. So, yeah. If you do want this figure, I'd say get it. It's a pretty good figure. I like it a lot. So, yeah. Anyway, here he is next to Dr. Billy Grant, and they scale up pretty nicely together. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Zach out.